All right, let's talk about Japan, where a powerful new ally, artificial intelligence, is being used to fight a crisis that's threatening the very heart of its healthcare system: massive doctor burnout. Just look at this number for a second. Almost 5 million hours. That is how much time doctors in Japan spend every single year not treating patients, not doing research, but doing paperwork. We're talking diagnostic reports, prescriptions, referrals, you name it. This isn't just some small inconvenience. It's a colossal drain on a system that is already stretched to its absolute breaking point.
So, to really get why a tool like AI has become so critical, you have to understand the incredible pressure Japan's healthcare system is under. It's not just one thing. It's a perfect storm of factors all hitting at the same time.
And this isn't some problem for the distant future. It is happening right now. This year, in 2024, new laws finally kicked in to limit the insane overtime hours doctors were forced to work, which sounds great, right? But it just makes the chronic staff shortage even worse. At the same time, the population is aging fast, and medical costs are set to explode, possibly hitting a staggering 70 trillion yen by 2040. So you've got less doctor time, way more patients, and costs that are just skyrocketing.
And this is the human cost of all that pressure. A government survey found that almost half of all doctors feel a major burden from paperwork. Think about that. This isn't just a hassle. It is one of the biggest drivers of fatigue and burnout. And a burnout doctor, well, that affects the quality of care for every single one of us. Something has to give.
And that something is starting to arrive in the form of generative AI. Now, we're not talking about robo-docs replacing real doctors. We're talking about giving them a new kind of teammate, an AI medical secretary. You see, for years, the solution was just to hire a human medical secretary. But that comes with a pretty big salary, and, they're human. They have work hours, they need breaks, they make mistakes. But then you look at the AI assistant. It's available 24/7. It automates all those routine tasks without getting tired, and it does it all for what's basically a subscription fee, a fraction of the cost. And the impact? It's just staggering. In one pilot program, what used to be a 10-minute slog for a doctor to create a clinical chart after a house call, that was cut down to just 1 minute. Imagine that, turning a 10-minute chore into a 1-minute review. Now multiply that by thousands of patients, and the time saved is just astronomical. And let me be clear, this is not science fiction. This is happening today, in real clinics across Japan, and it is completely changing the daily grind for these doctors. The way it works is actually pretty simple, and that's the beauty of it. A doctor has a totally normal conversation with their patient, and it gets recorded. The AI listens in, transcribes the whole thing, and then, and this is the magic trick, it automatically structures that messy conversation into a perfectly formatted, formal medical note. The doctor's only job is to do a quick review, maybe make a tiny edit, and sign off. All that tedious typing and organizing is just gone. And the doctors who are actually using this stuff, they're blown away. Listen to this from Dr. Tamaki Hidetoshi, who uses a system called AI Schreiber. He says the accuracy is surprisingly high, and he can use the notes almost without any correction. His final verdict? I can't go back to the old manual way. And this is way more than just a fancy dictation tool. These AI systems are drafting complex discharge summaries, generating referral letters, and creating up to 20 different kinds of official documents. One hospital piloting this tech calculated it would save their doctors 540 hours of work in a single year. That is hundreds of hours freed up for what really matters: taking care of patients. Okay, so I know what you're probably thinking. If this is so amazing, what's the catch? It sounds a little too good to be true. And you know what? That's a totally fair question. Because the reality is, there are some pretty big hurdles to clear before this becomes standard practice everywhere. Yeah, this isn't as simple as just flipping a switch. It's time for a bit of a reality check, because there are major technical, legal, and even organizational challenges that absolutely have to be sorted out. We can really break these barriers down into 3 main buckets. First, you've got the technical hurdles, things like accuracy and data security. Then you have the really important legal and ethical guardrails that you just can't compromise on. And finally, there are the organizational challenges of just getting a busy hospital to actually adopt and integrate this new way of working.
So let's talk about the single biggest technical fear. It's a phenomenon that AI experts call a hallucination. This is when the AI confidently spits out information that sounds completely plausible, but it's totally made up. Now, in most situations, that's just an annoyance. In medicine, it can be lethally dangerous.
And this is not a theoretical risk. This is a real, actual example. After just a minor software update, one of these AI models analyzed a case and concluded because gastroenteritis is common at the daycare, the high possibility is influenza. That makes no sense. It's a dangerously illogical leap, and it's a huge flashing warning sign that human oversight and constant quality control are completely non-negotiable. Then you have the legal and ethical lines in the sand. Japan's Doctors Act is crystal clear. Only a licensed human doctor can make a final medical decision, period. Patient data is, of course, incredibly sensitive and protected by strict privacy laws. And maybe most importantly, the final responsibility for a patient's care, the accountability, always rests with the human doctor. The AI is just a tool. It is never the one in charge. So keeping all those challenges in mind, what's the path forward? Well, the vision is actually very clear, and it's a really important one. This is all about augmenting doctors, not replacing them. And this really gets to the heart of it, the whole point of this technology. The goal isn't just to be more efficient. The goal is to automate all that soul-crushing bureaucracy, to free up a doctor's time for the things a machine can never do, to truly listen to patients, to communicate with them, to provide uniquely human care. And get ready for this, because here's a twist I bet you did not see coming. In one study, they had patients rate answers to their questions without knowing who wrote them. The answers generated by AI were judged to be nearly 10 times more empathetic than the answers written by actual, overworked human doctors. That suggests that by letting the AI handle the raw information, it might actually free up doctors to focus on the personal connection. So, the future we're looking at is a collaborative one. The AI handles the routine stuff, the paperwork. Doctors get to focus their brainpower on complex diagnosis and treatment. Nurses and other staff can focus on empathetic patient care. It's all about human expertise being amplified by technology. And the result? You get a more efficient system and better, more human patient outcomes. It's a win-win. And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. As these incredible AI tools continue to master the science of medical administration, how will that push us to evolve the art of human care? What new heights can medicine reach when its best and brightest are finally freed up to be more human?